On the night of October 29, 2025, one of the most shocking drone operations of the entire war unfolded deep inside occupied territory. Ukrainian operators launched a coordinated strike unlike anything Russia expected or could stop. 17 FPV drones, reinforced with AI-assisted control, long-range relay platforms, and encrypted navigation, swarmed toward a highly fortified Russian military base valued at nearly $500 million. This wasn't an isolated hit or a lucky strike. It was a purpose-built annihilation, a precision attack designed to erase an entire compound in seconds. What Russia believed was untouchable reinforced bunkers, ammunition storage, command nodes, armored vehicles, and surveillance stations became a blazing inferno before anyone inside understood what was happening. As thermal cameras began spotting movement inside the base, Ukrainian operators synchronized their drones into a single timed assault window. What followed next was the kind of destruction modern warfare has never seen. 17 drones hitting from multiple angles, detonating fuel reserves, shredding armored vehicles, and collapsing command centers. And the most shocking part? Not a single drone was intercepted. The operation started days earlier, with Ukrainian reconnaissance teams quietly mapping the Russian base's layout. Using high-altitude, thermal drones and low-noise quadcopters, analysts recorded every routine movement inside the compound. Guard rotations, vehicle traffic, ammunition deliveries, fuel storage placement, and the timing of equipment maintenance. For weeks, Russia had used this base as a forward assault hub, a fortified installation housing artillery crews, drone operators, tank detachments, and heavy equipment. Ukrainian intelligence discovered that multiple ammunition trucks had arrived recently, meaning the base was overflowing with explosives. This created a rare, high-value opportunity. One well-timed multi-angle drone strike could trigger a catastrophic chain reaction. Once analysts confirmed the presence of high-tier vehicles, including an armored command truck, radar systems, and a supply depot, the decision was made. This wouldn't be a harassment strike. It would be a full erasure. Mission planners approved a synchronized FPV wave. 17 kamikaze drones divided into strike roles, bunker penetrators, fuel igniters, vehicle killers, and infrastructure disruptors. Every drone had a target. Every target had a designated impact. Second. As night fell, portable launch teams spread out across multiple concealed positions. Operators activated fiber optic guidance lines, while secondary teams powered up AI-assisted stabilization systems, allowing flawless navigation through long-distance jamming zones. Relay drones hovered at altitude, extending range and ensuring every FPV received uninterrupted vision. What made this strike unique was the algorithmic sequencing, a system that calculated impact timing to ensure simultaneous destruction. The drones launched in 3 waves, not by distance, but by time. Some took longer routes to enter from the northern approach. Others flew low through valleys to avoid radar, and several used tree-level glide paths to slip underneath Russian electronic warfare umbrellas. In the operator's screens, 17 drone cameras flickered like a digital swarm, closing in on its prey. They moved silently at first, gliding through darkness until switching to attack mode. At 2:41 a.m., the system signaled Phase 1 activation. Every drone increased speed. The stage was set. Russia had no idea that a multi-layered aerial strike package was seconds away from descending directly onto their strongest forward base. The opening strike targeted the heart of the compound, the fuel depot. 2 FPVs approached from opposite angles, accelerating as they closed in on a cluster of diesel tanks and armored refueling trucks parked behind protective barriers. The moment of impact was deafening. Both drones slammed into the tanks within 1 second of each other, erupting into a massive column of fire that shot into the sky. The heat signature became so intense that surrounding vehicles instantly ignited. Russian guards scrambled in panic, some running toward water stations, others abandoning equipment entirely. But it was already too late. The fire expanded faster than anyone could react, consuming fuel lines and rupturing pipes. A refueling truck exploded violently, sending shrapnel across the compound. That single blast broke open a secondary tanker, causing another eruption. Flames raged through the motor pool, turning what Russia considered a secure resupply zone into a chaotic inferno. This opening attack crippled the base's mobility in seconds, eliminating its vehicle's lifeline. But the fuel depot explosion was only the beginning. With the fuel depot in flames, the next wave of drones targeted the ammunition storage bunkers. These structures were reinforced with thick walls and designed to withstand indirect strikes, but FPV drones DAN-T rely on indirect hits. They deliver explosives directly into weak points. 4 drones dove toward the bunker entrances, weaving past camouflage netting and slipping under overhangs. The first 2 drones hit the outer shield doors, breaching them instantly. The next 2 plunged into the exposed interior, detonating inside the ammunition stacks. The explosion was indescribable. Detonations cascaded like a chain of thunderclaps, one after another, each blast feeding into the next. The shockwave lifted debris high into the air, while secondary explosions ripped across the compound. Artillery shells cooked off, rockets fired randomly as they ignited, and storage crates launched into the night sky like flaming projectiles. This was the exact scenario Russia feared most, the base's ammunition igniting itself from within. Within minutes, the entire bunker area was reduced to a crater of burning wreckage. What took months to build was erased in less time than a commercial break. Now engulfed in fuel and ammo explosions, the base's vehicle yard became the next target. Ukrainian operators directed 5 drones toward the armored section where Russia stored transport trucks, infantry carriers, and a prized electronic warfare vehicle. The first drone rammed directly into the EW system, disabling Russia's only jamming protection. With jamming knocked out, the remaining FPVs became unstoppable. Another drone dove under a parked BTR, detonating beneath its hull and flipping it onto its side. 2 more hit transport trucks filled with supplies. Flames engulfed them instantly. The final drone in this wave performed one of the most precise hits of the operation. It flew through the shattered windshield of an armored command truck and detonated inside the cabin. Operators monitoring the screens watched as the entire command unit burst apart, scattering metal across the yard. With the armored fleet destroyed and mobility wiped out, Russia's base had lost its operational purpose. Vehicles meant for frontline rotation were now burning wrecks, and its support equipment lay twisted across the dirt. Ukraine's coordinated strike was close to complete, but the deadliest phase was still coming. The final phase of the attack targeted critical infrastructure, command nodes, communication relays, and radar systems. These structures coordinated artillery fire, controlled regional surveillance, and maintained unit communication. Losing them would isolate all nearby Russian units. 3 drones were assigned to this final blow. The first attacked the radar dish directly, striking the base of the rotating mount and causing the entire system to collapse sideways. The second drone zeroed in on the communications hub, a structure filled with electronics, cables, and transmitters. It struck the center control panel, instantly shutting down all operational networks. The third drone targeted the main command building, entering through a blown-open window created by earlier blasts. As it detonated inside, the entire structure erupted, its roof lifting several meters before collapsing inward. When the dust settled, the base's brain had been removed. No communication, no radar, no command. Russian forces in the surrounding regions were cut off, unable to call for support, unable to coordinate retreat, and unable to report the scale of the disaster unfolding around them. Within minutes, the base had transformed into a burning wasteland. Smoke rose in thick columns, visible for miles. Every major structure was either destroyed or engulfed in flames. Ukrainian reconnaissance drones circling overhead recorded the aftermath. Overturned vehicles, detonated bunkers, collapsed command buildings, and soldiers fleeing in disorganized panic. Several Russian units attempted to regroup outside the perimeter. But fires blocked multiple escape routes while exploding ammunition forced troops to take cover. What was once a $500 million military installation had been reduced to a graveyard of scorched metal and smoking debris. Russian emergency response units attempted to mobilize, but the destruction was too extensive to control. Every minute, a new secondary explosion erupted somewhere inside the compound. Ukrainian analysts later confirmed that the base would require months, if not years, to rebuild. But strategically, Ukraine achieved something far more valuable than property damage. They eliminated a major forward assault hub, crippled regional logistics, erased armored reserves, and dealt a psychological shock to Russian command, unlikely to be forgotten. The destruction of this base sent shockwaves throughout the region. For Russia, it meant the loss of supply routes, artillery coordination centers, frontline staging areas, and critical digital infrastructure. Without this installation, nearby Russian battalions suddenly found themselves isolated and unable to advance. Ukrainian forces immediately capitalized on this by pushing forward in multiple sectors where Russian units were now blind and unsupported. The strike also exposed a growing truth about modern warfare: expensive bases, armored vehicles, and reinforced structures cannot survive against mass-coordinated FPV swarms. Ukraine's ability to destroy $500 million worth of assets using a few dozen low-cost drones demonstrated an asymmetry that global militaries are now studying with urgency. This attack wasn't just a battlefield victory. It was a strategic blueprint showing how small nations can dismantle large armies through speed, intelligence, and precision. Analysts agree, the destruction of this base will reshape Russia's operational planning for months, forcing them to divert resources, reposition units, and rethink how they defend their rear positions from the sky. This operation stands as one of the most devastating drone strikes of the war, a technological display that proves the battlefield is no longer controlled by the biggest army, but by the smartest operators. 17 Ukrainian drones didn't just damage a Russian base, they erased it piece by piece. In a synchronized attack, Russia was powerless to stop. What happened here will be studied by militaries around the world for years to come. It shows the future of warfare is already here. Autonomous swarms, precision FPVs, AI-supported targeting, and rapid battlefield coordination. And as long as the war continues, both sides will push these technologies to new extremes. If you want daily frontline updates, verified battlefield analysis, and detailed breakdowns of how Ukrainian drone warfare is changing the course of the conflict, make sure you subscribe, hit the notification bell, and stay with us. Your support helps us bring accurate reporting, real footage, and expert analysis to viewers around the world. The war evolves every day, and we're here to break down every strike, every innovation, and every turning point.